We now have delegations unrelated to agenda items. Collen Middleton, Nanaimo Public Area Safety Association, Public Concerns on Victoria Road. Thank you, Councillor Thorpe, for retrieving my pen top. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Mr. Middleton, good evening and welcome.
Hello.
As you know, 5 minutes, and I'll give you a minute warning when you're at...
I see the timer there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming tonight.
I just want to start before I go, if you don't mind, just holding the clock. I want to thank the Mayor and Council for engagement on this issue. I'm here because I'm a father of 2 young and growing boys. I have a wife, and we moved here a few years ago into South Nanaimo, and we love this city, and we don't want to ever leave this city. And it's because of that, which is why my family and I and my growing community of people in Nanaimo are working on trying to make it safer. I've used up almost a minute. The individual who was shot on the weekend in the face was my age. He's 39 years old. Could have very easily, and unhoused, he could have very easily been a very good friend of mine, who I played music with in university, struggled with mental illness as a young adult, fell onto addiction, and it was on the streets in and out for many years, and ultimately passed away 3 years ago, well before his time. Your Worship, Mayor Krog, City of Nanaimo Council, please accept this letter prepared by the residents of the 0 block of Victoria Road and signed by 74 residents who live within 1 block. Over the last 3 months, the residents of the block have borne witness to a sharp escalation in suffering on their streets. The situation requires the city's urgent action. There have been an alarming increase in illicit drug use on sidewalks in this block, deterring residents from walking downtown. There is a substantial accumulation of used drug paraphernalia, including needles, burnt tinfoil, empty prescription bottles, used opiate smoke pipes, as well as discarded food and drink packages. This escalation coincided with the opening of the Salvation Army Emergency Disaster Services food truck that is parked down the block from the Outreach Pharmacy, and the initiation of the Enhanced Harm Reduction Program supported and funded by the federal and provincial governments within the last 3 months. With the increase of loitering in and around the entrance of the Outreach Pharmacy and Salvation Army food truck, there is also an increase in threatening and intimidating behaviors towards residents across the street, including screaming at all hours, soliciting, trespassing, loud banging on doors at all hours, illicit drug use on front steps, unconscious people on residents' lawns, and damage to hedges and greenery of private property. There have been more than 3 instances in the last 3 weeks where a tent has been pitched on private property with the intent to establish encampment. But most concerning of all is the sharp escalation of ambulance visits, attending apparent illicit drug overdoses, and police responses to attend to violent altercations. Since January 1st, there have been 37 overdose ambulance responses as documented by neighbors and correlated to city records. For perspective, this is comparable to the total number of ambulance calls to the block in the preceding 3 years combined. In the last 2 weeks, there were reports of a sword being confiscated by the police during an altercation, and reports of vigilantism or possible hate crimes against unhoused people on the block. The situation is not safe for anyone at present, and we need it to de-escalate. Now, in the aftermath of a lot of the news that have come out in the last couple of weeks, our group has been attacked online as being vigilantes, as being NIMBYs, and even insinuated as being racist. Not true and not fair at all. It is distressing for the neighbors, including multi-generational families with small children and elders, to regularly witness these traumatic events right in front of their private residences. Residents have compassion for the unhoused population struggling with substance use disorders, but are at a loss as to how to help those suffering on the streets. This helplessness is distressing for the residents. On Check News this evening, we saw that the unhoused are armed, and there are 2 shootings in the last week where the shooter is still at large. Kylie's Clubhouse Childcare in the historic Century Home at Victoria Road and Selby Street closed in the last 3 weeks directly because of escalating drug activity and disturbances. Others are afraid to leave their residences, such as those who live at the seniors complex on Robart Street, despite having doctor's orders to get outside for regular activity outdoors. Renters love the neighborhood and are disheartened by what is happening, but cannot afford to leave due to Nanaimo's extreme lack of affordable housing. Thank you.